I'm Philip Ward, Editor-in-Chief of ArtMiniEurope.com, and I'm pleased to have me here this week Professor Norbert Hosten from Germany. He's president of the DRG, the German Radiological Society. Professor Hosten, welcome to ECR.
Thank you.
This is a very big week for Germany because you have the president, Professor Hamm, and there are various sessions as well about radiology in Germany. Perhaps you just tell us a little bit about that.
I've always been a friend of the ECR meets other countries sessions, and I'm glad that this year we have ECR meets the Germany session. It's on Friday. And we are glad to present certain topics that are important to German radiology, like population imaging, like Röntgen's birthplace, a house from the 19th century that the German Radiological Society purchased earlier on.
So there's lots happening and lots new as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot is happening, a lot is new, and it's a unique opportunity to present it to the European public. Yeah?
Good. Now, you mentioned about population-based imaging and the importance of it in research. Is there any population... well, first of all, could you describe what a population-based study would be?
In a population-based study, you don't image people with diseases. You image normal subjects. And we can do that because MR imaging doesn't use ionizing radiation. And in Germany, in the next years, we will image 30,000 people in 5 imaging centers. We use 3 Tesla MRIs, and these volunteers get free whole-body MRIs. They also get medical checkups every year, and the idea is that if they develop a disease later on, you can see what the images a decade or 2 decades ago looked like, and if there were very early signs of the disease.
Okay. Is this a new initiative within the DRG, or is it something that you've been working on for the past year or two during your presidency?
In Germany, we had a pilot in the university that I work at in Greifswald, where we imaged 3,000 people with whole-body MRI in the last 5 years. So many of the problems and of the ideas, the solutions that population imaging can bring, we have already studied on a smaller scale.
Okay. It sounds like a very big investment in terms of resources, time. Is it something that has proved possible to manage and to get the interest in?
Yeah, it is possible to manage it. It's expensive. I think in the national cohort, just in acquiring the data, there are 100 people working on it, doctors and non-doctors. The MR images are expensive. There are ethical problems that had to be solved. It's a very important and interesting project. Yeah.
Good. You mentioned ethical problems. What are the problems that you've encountered in ethical terms?
If you do an epidemiological study, you do not disclose the findings that you made to the patient. And if you think about that, that can be a problem. So you have to make a distinction between problems or findings that you have to disclose because the patient's health is endangered, and findings that you do not disclose because that's exactly what you want to study. And on the session, or during the session on Friday, we have invited a philosopher from Germany who has discussed these problems, these ethical problems with us for the last years. And I think that's a new approach to have a philosopher talking on ethical problems on a radiological conference, and I'm very curious what that will work out.
Excellent. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in that. And is this, would you say, one of the cornerstones of your presidency? Is this one of the aspects that you've concentrated on most?
Yeah, on science, that's one of the cornerstones. That's right, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Good. Now, also, possibly on the negative side, there are some threats looming for radiology within Germany and beyond. One of those is outsourcing and teleradiology. Could you just describe how you've addressed that and what your policy as a society is on outsourcing?
In Germany, we have a very special situation because we have something called the regional principle in radiology. So in Germany, it's only allowed to do teleradiology at nights and at weekends, on the weekends. And you can only do it for hospitals that you can reach in 45 minutes. The idea is if there's an emergency or problems with the teleradiology, the teleradiologist has to be able to go there and take care of that problem. So teleradiology is, in my opinion, luckily somewhat cooled down in Germany due to the regional principle.
Right, okay. So it hasn't been, and I suppose the language aspect is also, you don't have radiologists overseas, in many cases with expertise in German.
Yeah, but if you look to Eastern Europe, there are lots of doctors that have been trained in Germany, so there would be a group of radiologists that could communicate in Germany.
Okay, excellent. Now, how about also the increasing amount of imaging that is done by non-radiologists within Germany? Is that, how have you, during your term, how have you addressed that particular issue?
Well, I think what other professions, medical professions, are really interested in is MR imaging. In Germany, so far, that is not so much a problem. Of course, the cardiologists, colleague from cardiology, from orthopedics, they are interested in doing it, but so far, MR imaging is in the hands of radiologists in Germany.
Okay, good. Professor Hosten, I hope the week goes well for you. I hope it's a good Congress, and thank you very much for joining us here today.